Last year at the end of my in the fall, like when plants were finishing up, I let my okra, which had produced for quite a long time, but I let the pods that were growing the seeds on there, I let them go ahead and get huge like this, and then I hung them in my greenhouse all winter long. So I'm going to crack open the pods and see what seeds we have, and I hope that I can grow from these seeds and not have to purchase more. Here are my pods. I may have made a mistake by hanging them in the greenhouse because it's pretty moist in there, and as you can see, they got pretty moldy. I'm hoping that's only on the outside and the seeds inside will be okay. So we're gonna crack some of these open and see what we can see. Well, I've got my little helper here, so I guess I'm all set. So here's my pod. Okay, I must say that these are much harder to crack open than when they're young and not dry. Wow, that looks great. I'm hoping these show up on the video. There's so many of them. Now this one looks a little sketchy. So there are a few that look sort of like maybe they got some of the mold on them. So I'm gonna get these out, and then I'm gonna separate into what I think are good and bad and get rid of the bad and try planting the good and see if we get some little okra plants. I got all of these from one okra pod. So it looks like approximately 50% have that mold on them. So definitely next year, if I try this again, if I try to seed save again, I'm going to hang them inside the house, maybe in a cool room or in the basement, and let them dry someplace that's not as moist. So we have quite a few pods to go. Interestingly, the second pod had none that were moldy looking. I think what I may do, since I have more than enough already, I may just go ahead and crack them open, and if I see mildew, dispose of the pod and move on to the next one. See how many I get just from the pods that have no mold in them. So from that big pile of pods, each one of those sticks had 1 or 2 pods on it. I gotta admit, the majority were moldy. So this is what I got. Some of those might still need to be weeded out, but I'm gonna let these air dry before I try planting them and sprouting them and seeing how they do. That's still way more than I would ever need.